Hey everybody, Jeremy here. This is going to be a video tutorial of how to use the split screen or portion of the screen view when you're doing your workshops. To me, I find this very beneficial. Once I started doing it, I never went back because to me, if I share my full screen, I lose the view of my list of students, and for me, that's bothersome. I like to be able to see the list of students at all times so that while I'm sharing content and teaching students, I'm also able to keep track of who I'm calling on, who all is there, and also go marking who's participating in what instance. I'm also going to share some other tips with you in this video. The first of which, let's jump right into it, yeah? So as you'll see here right now, my name is Piap Miniduke 1. That is not very personal. That is not very student friendly. So let's go ahead and fix that, right? When I have my Zoom window here, if I click on participants, you'll see that here is the lone participant, Piap Miniduke 1. Let's go ahead and change that by hovering over here. We click more, rename, and I'm going to change that to Mr. Jeremy with an exclamation point. Now my students can call on me more easily if they need something, and it's a lot more personal than Piap Miniduke 1. That's something you'll want to do before you let your students into the room, but really you can do it whenever. So now Mr. Jeremy instead of Piap Miniduke 1. Now let's take a look at that screen share. So I'm going to use week 1 here as an example. So here's the content, right? I'm going to first pull this window out of there, yeah, and I'm going to throw it over here to the left side so that I now have the right side free. I'm going to click OK. And now this is important, pay attention. So normally when I share my screen, I click slideshow. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to click this little arrow right here, and I'm going to click presenter view. However, I'm not actually going to use this window that pops up as presenter view. I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now I have this window over here with the presentation there in a reduced size. However, if I click on this and then I click forward, you'll see that the animations are still there. So now what I have here on the left side is the exact same thing that I would have had on the full screen share. However, now I have the right side of my screen free for whatever it is I'd like to have there. So that's how we get the window to be ready to be shared in that reduced space. Now let's talk about how do I just share that window on the side there. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to start sharing my screen. Right? So I'm going to go down here to this green button, share screen. I'm going to click that. And what I'm going to do, normally it comes up on basic. What I'm going to do is click over here on advanced in the middle, and I'm going to choose portion of the screen. Also, another thing I always do, I like to put on music in the beginning of my session to create the mood and what have you, relax students. So I'm always going to do share sound, and that way if I put on music in the background, my students will also hear that music in the background. But again, this is about the portion of the screen share. So again, advanced, portion of the screen, and share. So I actually already have this fitted. Usually it'll be somewhere like over here. You'll need to move this little box down here and put it on there. This is also something you can do before the students come in. And then I'll stop the share once I've fit the green box around my content. And now I can let the students in and so on. And when I share screen, it is already going to be fit around that box that I have on the left there. So again, this is to me really good because now I have this. For the students it's absolutely no difference, but for me it's really different because now I can pull up over here on the right side, ta-da, my list of students. And so now I'm able to present the content over here on the left side, however not lose sight of my list. What is it that I have over here on this right side? Is this the attendance spreadsheet that was shared with you? No. I copied this information, the list of students, and I pasted that into my own Excel spreadsheet. And what I do is each week I make a set of columns for each week. The first one always being attendance. And then the other ones, question of the day, this is me, and Magic 8 Ball. Why are these my 3 columns? Because these are the instances where I would ideally like all students to respond. And so let's say I have this ready to go. I'm implementing a session, something that I find really helpful. Let's say we've gotten through the while we wait activity, right? I'm just clicking through all of this really fast. And now we get to the moment where we take attendance, right? So as I go through the list, I'll say, Maura Alexandra, for example, and she responds, and I mark her here. Great, Lisette Araneda, great. And let's say I get through all of this. Oh, Emilia's not here, Patricio's not here, Angela is, right? These kids are here, these ones are not. I mark the one when they say something. Okay, so these are the students that I'm working with today. What am I going to do now so that I don't call on those other ones for the rest of the time? I'm going to highlight those rows and mark them with a color so that I know not to call on them in the rest of those activities. And now I'm only, when I get to these, I'm only going to call on the students who are not barred off as yellow, right? And so this to me is really helpful. And yeah, it just allows you to have the administrative view and be able to log information and track information, and at the same time be sharing this stuff with the students. Really quickly, I also want to show you sort of an instance where, well, what about when you click away from the Google Slides file, right? There are other activities that go to another place. What's going to happen there? Well, let's just give you an example. So in week 1, in the starter plan, we have the Magic 8-Ball activity, if you'll remember, or for those of you who haven't done week 1, you'll see. So what happens here? I click the Magic 8-Ball conversation. The green window stays exactly where it was. And now here's the Magic 8-Ball website. Oh my gosh, this isn't what the students need to see. They don't need to see this part up here. They need to see